Just waiting for 1 second for everything to go live in all the places. So, hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. Hi, I'm here. Okay, so today I want to answer, I want to get you to answer a couple of questions for me. So, the first question is, do you want to be rich? Do you want to have excess of money? Do you want to be able to bless other people? Do you want to leave an inheritance for your children's children? Do you want all that? If you want all of that, then you keep listening. If you're not interested in money, then this video is not for you. So first of all, I want to say that I learned all this from one of my mentors. I have listened to his training now 3 times in the last 24 hours. If you don't know me, my name is Liz, and my background is I was a registered nurse for 28 years. I retired as of last year, and one of the things I learned in nursing school was something called see one, do one, teach one. And so when I want to learn something, and this is a good habit that you can teach yourself, when you want to learn something, what you do is you learn it, so you see it, and then you go teach it. When you teach it, it gets into your subconscious, it gets into your soul. And so that's a really great way to if you really want to elevate and speed up the learning process, is when you learn something and you grab a hold of something and something really resonates with you about it, go talk about it, go teach it to other people. So anyway, getting back to the point at hand. So I have been talking about digital marketing and how I have made a lot of money in a short amount of time. I've been talking about it a lot over the past 8 weeks. But I came to the realization over the last few days is I may have been getting what's called in the South, we call it getting the cart before the horse. And what do I mean by that? Is I think that a lot of times that if people don't have the right mindset, they don't have the right way of thinking, that the vehicle doesn't matter. Okay? So let me ask you the question again. Do you want to be rich? Do you want to be rich? So listen along. If you do, listen up, because I have got some stuff to tell you. I do encourage you, if you're watching on TikTok, the replay will be available over on YouTube. I will cut snippets of it and have it over on my TikTok timeline, but the whole video, start to finish, will be over on my YouTube channel. So check it out over there. Okay, so let me ask. There's 2 questions that you need to answer if you want to be rich. Okay, and I want you to take notes of this if you're able to. The number 1 question that you need to ask yourself is, what do rich people do? What do rich people do? Because that's what you want to do. You want to do what rich people are doing. Okay, so write that question in the comments down below. What do rich people do? Okay, and then the second question I want you to ask yourself, and I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into this in detail. I'm going to help unravel it for you. The second question is, what do poor people do? Because you don't want to do that. Okay, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Because when I first heard my mentor, Myron Golden, I heard him say this. I thought, oh, well, let me find out what business the rich people are in, and let me find out what business or jobs that the poor people have. That's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about how they make their money. We're going to talk about why they are able to make that money. Okay. In the 3 areas that we're going to talk about what they do, let me break it down this way. It's not what they do, it's how they behave. So behavior. So that's another, I want you to type the word behavior in the comments down below. Behavior. Because that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on what rich people and what poor people think, what rich people and what poor people say, their mind, their mouth, and what rich people do with their money. So the mind, the mouth, and the money. Okay, so type that in the comments down below, or write it on your paper. When you write things down, when you type things, it helps you pay attention. Okay. So like anytime I watch something that I want to really learn, I'm old school. I'm 51 years old. So I keep a notebook, and this is literally the 2 pages of notes I took from Myron's video. Okay. So I'm teaching you to do what I do. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the mind first. Okay. What do rich people do with their thinking? Okay. So now let me ask you this question. If you are not rich, and I don't want you to answer it necessarily, I just want you to reflect about it. Where do you spend your time? What are you watching and what are you reading? Okay. So when I decided that I was going to be a 6-figure earner, I stopped watching TV altogether. 100% stopped watching TV. I don't watch anything for leisure. Okay. I don't binge watch stuff. I don't go to the movies. I do not have time to waste watching TV. Like this morning, I watched my grandson, took him on a walk. I didn't listen to music when I was on the walk. I listened to Myron's video again. It was the 3rd time that I watched it in 24 hours or listened to it because I was walking, so I really couldn't watch it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, if I have some downtime, I'm listening to a podcast, I'm watching a video, or I'm reading a self-help book. So what are you doing with your time? Okay. And another thing that I've stopped doing, and I can guarantee you rich people don't do, is they don't scroll on Facebook. They don't scroll on TikTok. They're not just looking for some way to be distracted and be entertained. They're out there providing content if they are on social media. A lot of them aren't even on social media. A lot of them are too busy working and hustling and doing their business or actually living their life and having fun. They're not on social media to be entertained and to be distracted. So all of these things are choices that we make every single day. And a lot of those choices keep us broke. The choices we make are keeping us broke. So where are you spending your time? What are you watching or reading? Okay. Mind. What are rich people doing? What are poor people doing? Okay. Then this one, so very important. And over the last few months, it's become so abundantly clear to me how many people do not have control over their mouths. In the Bible, it says the power of life and death is in the tongue. That means what you say speaks life over your situation, or it speaks death over your situation. And I'm gonna summarize this into one tip. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Okay? I don't get it. I really don't get it. If you go on Facebook and you see someone that let me give you two little keys. If you see somebody complaining about not having any money, or complaining about being broke or whatever, I can almost guarantee you, if you go to their timeline and scroll back 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 posts, somewhere in there, they are talking about binge watching the latest whatever, Bridgerton. I don't even know how to say it. I honestly don't. I see it all the time on Facebook, but I don't watch TV, so I don't know how to say it. I don't know. But they're binge watching stuff, or they're talking about a football game, or they're talking about a baseball game, or they're talking about some kind of distraction, entertainment nonsense. And they're also talking about being broke. You're not going to find rich people doing 2 things: wasting their time watching nonsense on TV, being entertained, being distracted. And you're not going to find rich people complaining. You're not going to find it. You cannot get to the solution from a problem mindset. You just can't. So you've got to make the conscious decision to stop complaining, stop being a victim. I think I was going to mention this later in my notes. Well, Liz, that's easy for you to say because you haven't been through what I've been through. I'm having a really difficult time. Have I not? Have I not? Do you guys know my whole life story? No, probably not. You're just making an assumption that because of what I look like, what I sound like, because of my following or whatever, that I must have had it easy, right? So let me tell you a little backstory on me. I grew up very poor. I don't want to say dirt poor because we didn't have dirt on the ground in our home, but there were many nights I went to bed hungry. We never had health insurance. I was sick all the time. I had scarlet fever, rheumatic fever twice because I wasn't getting treated for infections that I had. I have heart valve damage from that. Very, very, very poor. That could be an excuse for me to be poor for the rest of my life right there. I grew up. That's how I grew up. That's how my family, that's how we grew up. We had to move because we got evicted out of our homes most of the time. We had electricity cut off, water cut off. We didn't have food. Very poor. Okay. There's one thing. As a new married couple, my husband lost our business. We had a newborn baby. We ended up having to lose everything. We filed bankruptcy. We lost everything. There's another excuse. When I was in nursing school, I could have dropped out. I should have dropped out. Both my parents had cancer when I was in nursing school. It was the most stressful time of my life. But I had to go through that difficulty of school and the trials to get to be able to be a nurse. That was part of the deal. So I think that a lot of times people are comfortable, even though they're complaining, they're comfortable with their poverty because that's just what they've always done. They don't know how to do it. That's another thing I hear people say all the time. Liz, I understand that you're making 5 figures a month, but I don't have the following that you do. Well, I didn't have a following either when I started. Well, I don't know how to make videos. You think I was born knowing how to make videos? We learn everything we do. We were all born knowing nothing. We learned how to walk. We learned how to talk. We were all scared when we first learned how to drive. But we learned how to drive because most of us did, because we want to go somewhere. We want to have that accessibility. We want to have that independence. When I saw that the tide was turning during the pandemic, that everything was going online, people want to learn everything online. They want to earn money from home. They want to do all that. I learned the skills necessary to be able to market things on social media. My background is a nurse. I'm a nurse. I'm not a trained TV broadcaster. I learned how to make videos. I took courses that teach me how to do this. I sell a course that teaches you how to do what I do. So stop using those excuses you can learn anything going and watching YouTube videos. Come on, guys. Okay. I'm putting on my mom pants today and talking to y'all. So yeah, over on YouTube, they're like, whoa, Liz. So here's my thing. If I will confront, okay, wait, let me back up. If you come to me and you say, I want to change, I want to make 5 figures a month. I've never done it before, but I want to change. I want to do it. I want to learn. I am going to help you, but I'm not going to love you in your poverty, and I'm not going to love you in your stinking thinking. I'm going to love you enough to challenge your thinking so that you can become the person that makes 6 figures a year. Because if you're thinking like a poor person, wait, let me say this a different way. You must first think and act like a rich person before the money comes. You can't become rich thinking and acting like a poor person. Again, you can't get to the solution from the problem mindset. So before the money comes, you have to act the way that rich people act. You have to behave the way that rich people behave. There's no way around it. It doesn't matter what business it is. It doesn't matter if you're selling crypto. It doesn't matter if you're doing digital marketing like I do. It doesn't matter if you're doing network marketing. It doesn't matter if you start your own business. If you are in a poverty mindset and you are running the hamster wheel, it won't work for you. If you are scared, if you are worried about what people will think of you, if you have any of those thoughts of doubt and what ifs, it won't work. So until you get these behaviors down and this understanding down that this is how you must think, how you must speak, and how you must act with your money, how you do it is irrelevant. Because once you have these three things down, once you have control of your mind, once you have control of your mouth, and once you know how to spend your money properly, you can make anything work. Okay, so we talked about the mouth. Basically, if you want to have control and you want to be like a rich person, you must switch your negative speaking to positive speaking. That's it in a nutshell. Okay, so the third area that you must gain control over is your money. Okay, so what do the rich people, let me ask you this question if you're still watching, what do rich people do with their money versus what do poor people do with their money? Let me see over on YouTube. Yes, that's it. Right there. Thank you, Sheila. So rich people invest their money and poor people spend their money. That's it in a nutshell. You have to be willing to invest and leverage. I'm going to give you an example, and that's me. When I started making 5 figures a month in digital marketing, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to pay off my car. I know some of you may think that's stupid. Liz, you should pay off your car. No, I have enough money to pay multiple months of payments in my bank account. But what I did is I said, how can I leverage this money to make more money? Do I need to invest in another business? Do I need to invest in some assets? What I'm doing right now is I'm investing in tools that help me leverage other people's time in order to scale my business. So I'm not spending that money. I'm not going out and buying a boat. I'm not treating myself to fancy whatever. I could, and there would be nothing wrong with it. But I am investing my money. Poor people, Fridays, they go out to eat, they go buy lottery tickets, they go drinking, they go partying, they spend they pay every bill, and by Monday they're broke again. In debt isn't a problem if you leverage the debt properly. But if you're overspending and putting everything on cards and don't even have the money to pay off the cards or pay the minimum on the cards, that's a problem. That's not appropriately leveraging debt. So rich people invest and they use debt the way it's intended to be used, and poor people overspend. So are you learning do you know how to turn your money into money? That's the question. So in a nutshell, what I want you to take away from this is which behaviors are you practicing every single day? What are you thinking about? How are you thinking? What is your mind thinking? Are you thinking like a poor person? Or are you thinking like a rich person? Number 2, what are you speaking? Are you speaking like a rich person? Are you speaking like a poor person? And number 3, how are you treating your money? It doesn't matter if you're making $10 an hour or $1,000 an hour. Are you investing that money or are you spending it? I remember my dad used to say, well, I can't afford to invest. That's right. You can't. And because you don't ever make it a priority, you will never have the money to be able to do it. At some point, you have to, even when you're broke, you have to figure that out. You have to work more hours or whatever. But on that note, let me just throw this in as a side note. Okay, because I have a lot of people who are like, well, I failed at businesses before. Well, me too. I failed at lots of businesses before. Lots. I guarantee you, most people watching this video right now haven't even attempted in the last 2 years, the number of businesses that I've failed at. You have to just keep going. You have to keep going. But my question for you is this. Let's say you want to make $100,000 a year. Okay, which actually is not even a lot of money anymore. It takes that to just barely keep a family running these days. Okay, but let's say you want to make $100,000 a year and you're making $50,000 a year working 40 hours a week at your job. Okay, and you want to let's just say 50,000, working 40 hours a week at your job, just for easy math, okay? Since I didn't prepare any kind of math before I started this. If you worked your job and you know that you can make $50,000 a year working 40 hours a week, wouldn't it make sense that if you wanted to scale and make $100,000 at your job, that you would need to work 80 hours a week? If that's even an option, or you'd need to get another job working another 40 hours doing what you do at somewhere else to be able to make $100,000 a year. So that's just doubling down on what you're doing. So let me ask you this question. Do you love what you're doing enough to go double it to make more money? Do you? Because I sure didn't. That's what I had to ask myself as a nurse. Is I was like, well, I'm making decent money as a nurse, but if I want to scale it, I'm going to have to like go into travel nursing and be away from my family, or go back into the emergency room, which I hated. And I didn't want to, even though it was great pay. It was a terrible work environment. So I didn't want to do that. So I had to figure out where could I leverage more time, leverage my time, work less time, and make more money. And that was online. That was online. So back to the point, and thank you so much for watching, is which behavior are you partaking in? The rich way or the poor way? And if you are poor, it's time to self-reflect and say, what am I doing? And what can I do to change that behavior? Yep. All right. So thanks for watching. Bye-bye, guys.